What do you think?
I think we're dead meat. Real dead meat.
You dead meat!
Go ahead and laugh, you guys. If I ever find a little bastards that did this, they're dead meat.
Welcome to the Dead Meat Podcast, your horror safe haven. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm James, and we're married and we like to get scared together. We also have a dog
We have
now.
a dog here now.
Yeah.
This is Molly.
This is Molly.
Hi, Molly.
Joining Lucy, who is fine and making both our pets slaying for drugs.
Yep, Molly and Lucy.
So that's a lot of fun.
That was not on purpose.
Today, we're talking about Scream 6, but this ain't going to be like a regular review episode. No, we've got fucking Radio Silence with us to talk all about it. What up, guys?
What up?
How's
Sorry
it
for
going?
being here. I mean, thank you for being here. Or for thank you for having us.
Yes, we've got co-directors Tyler Gillette and Matt Bettinelli open, and executive producer Chad Villela.
And not your first appearance on the podcast, although a lot has changed since you guys were last here.
The last one, was it ready or not?
It was kind of just a general,
like,
let's get to know
hang
ladies.
out.
We kind of went through all
But it
general
was
buddy hang?
post Ready or Not, pre-Scream.
We knew about Scream. I don't know if you had gotten inklings by then.
I don't think so. For us too.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Ready or Not did it like, that's what led to Scream, right? Because of the tone and everything, and because of Matt and Jamie.
Yeah,
Hi,
it was
Jamie.
similar gang, same producers, same writer, producer, same writer, not a producer, but yeah, Jamie and Guy teamed up to write this one.
Yeah, and it was James who like got the rights right through Project X for Scream, and then was like writing the script and reached out to you guys to direct.
Yeah. The Project X guys had their meeting with Spyglass, and they started talking about like properties that Spyglass had that they would like to be a part of. And I think Jamie right away just raised his hand and said, "We would love to be able to do Scream." And William, Paul, and Jamie, they developed it for a little bit. We found out Jamie was writing the script, and we were just like so stoked that one of our friends was writing a Scream movie. It was kind of like surreal. We're like, oh my God, we're like the biggest fans. That'd be so cool to be able to write a Scream movie. And then what else? A couple weeks later, they kind of asked us to be a part of it, and we were just like absolutely floored. And that's been 3 years every day, every minute of our lives for the last 3 years.
So it was a studio thing. You said it was Spyglass kind of was like, hey, here's some properties that we have. It's amazing how often I hear that from people who direct and are in the industry, how often there are studio meetings where they're like, here's our book of properties. Do any of these appeal to you? And you'd be,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's every meeting. It's like we love execs, but it sometimes feels like execs shorthand for I don't have anything. But
Yeah,
if there's one of these 5,000 movies that's interesting to you, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, we'll fund it.
Yeah.
spin the IP wheel
Mhm.
and see what what it lands on.
And yeah, like you said, it's been 3 years since, where it's just, I bet, yeah, Scream has just been your lives since then, huh?
Like life changing. It's been a dream. I mean, look, they're hard movies to make. For a lot of reasons. I think maybe the biggest is just standing on the shoulders of those giants, Kevin and Wes. But it's been like the honor of our careers. It's truly been incredible.
Yeah, I think you've done them right. I like I said when I reviewed Scream 5 recently on the Kill Count, it just feels like the original and really strikes that balance of horror and comedy. And then what I fucking love is how Scream 6 is the most different Scream movie in the franchise. Because it's like, I love Scream, I love all the tropes and the beats that it hits, but like something different would be cool, and you gave it to us with Scream 6. Is that something you guys set out to do after Scream 5, where you're like, okay, we've done the revitalization in a familiar way, let's do something entirely different?
Yeah, I would say that was 100% of our kind of internal marching orders to ourselves.
Yeah.
We had a joke, this is going to sound hokey, but our joke was risk it all. And actually, I think there's a jingle that goes with that. I don't know if one of you want to do it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
fucking stupidly said that during an interview pre-Scream 6. I was like, well, we just gotta risk it all, and it's
And it's stuck, and we had fun with it.
Oh, is that?
And it took us about 2 months to figure out we were doing like a Donna's ripoff.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We couldn't make the song.
But yeah, it really was the way we approached the whole thing. You know, Guy and Jamie, the same idea. Like, let's just make and honestly, when we got on set with the cast kind of had the same vibe. It was like, let's just go make this one ours. Like, the group of the creative people working on this, let's have 100% ownership over this one, because it feels like that's what not only we all wanted creatively, but it also feels like what Scream needs. Is it can't just be homage. You know, I mean, we had to step in and we had to do that baton pass, which we had a great time and we loved, but there was something very freeing about the idea of like, all right, well, we ripped off the Band-Aid. Now let's just go have a good time with it.
Yeah.
We're also, I feel like during prep, you're never really sure, like, if the thing is kind of working, you know, I mean, you feel you're only sort of trusting your intuition, decision to decision, choice to choice. But I remember getting on set, and I think it was Melissa was the first cast member who was like, yo, this feels different in a good way. Like they were excited, but they, you know, having had the experience on 5, I think we heard that from everybody who was returning, that there was just like something, there was a different sort of energy to the production. And that starts with, you know, the script.
Yeah, and I'm sure also the location change must have felt different, because Scream 5 was Wilmington, is that right, in North Carolina?
That's correct.
And
this one you were in Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old Canadian city as New York standby, the old Jason Voorhees.
Right.
You guys mask it a lot better than they did with Vancouver.
Yeah, maybe in a weird way, it's like accidental homage that way too. We're
Yeah, well, I
filming
mean,
in Canada.
They have Jason Takes Manhattan
That's right,
playing
the scene
on
on
the
the
fucking
boat.
TV in
Yep.
the opening. I love that, because everyone's like, we got to have a Jason Takes Manhattan on. And I'm assuming as soon as it was set in New York, you guys thought the same thing.
But we didn't know where that nod would be
Yeah.
until very late in the edit. We joked, we had it like, we have a Google Doc for every project we do that's just like a living, breathing document that changes all the time. And one of the notes that was on it always was like, is there a place for a Jason Takes Manhattan joke?
Mm-hmm.
And there never was. It just never like found its way into the movie beyond obviously the broad concept of we're in New York. But we had that TV. That TV had something our editor Jay threw on for a while that was really good, but we couldn't get the rights to it. And so we had Paramount send us a list of all the movies they had the rights to. And of course, Jason Takes Manhattan was on there. And the second we saw it, we were like, well, that'll be on the TV in the opening scene.
Because that's easier than having Ghostface punch someone's head off,
Or
like in
kick
that
a
movie.
boombox in Times Square. Yeah. I mean, there are the establishing shots of New York. Was that all second unit? Was that just the day of shoots? Like, what was all filmed actually in New York?
There's a little licensed stuff that was just, you know.
Oh, okay.
We found the freshest, you know, Getty image, like great Getty image stuff. God, I feel ashamed saying that.
No, but that's the thing. People don't understand how often stock footage is used in films, because
Like
I remember
every movie and TV show
there was like a
uses it.
month ago, people were in a frenzy because there was a shot in the menu people figured out was stock footage. It's the very first shot of the movie. There's like it's like her fingers smoking a cigarette. That's not Anya Taylor-Joy. That's stock footage. It's
Really?
crazy. Yes.
Amazing use of stock.
It's so great.
Fun stock footage. Stock footage fact: in Ready or Not, there's a cutaway of the gears spinning inside the dumbwaiter before Dora gets crushed. Those are actually the gears in Big Ben.
Dora.
Wow.
Well, okay, so it was all
Not stock footage, though. We went out to film it because we take our job seriously.
Yes.
No, but then there's some B-roll. We sent our DP Brett Jukowitz. He lives in New York. He lives in Brooklyn, and so because there were talks about like, oh, if we can save enough during production, like maybe we can do a little bit of a splinter unit out there and shoot some shots of, you know, Melissa walking the streets. Never materialized because you never just end up at the end of a shoot with a surplus of money.
Yeah.
But we knew that we could send Brett out on Halloween. So there are a handful of street shots that he actually shot on the Saturday before Halloween, right? It was like almost
it was the 29th.
It lined up with the actual timeline of the movie. So there, all of those B-roll shots, the street level B-roll shots are all shot in New York this last Halloween.
How does that work in terms of, this is such like a post brain question, but like in terms of rights, if you have someone running around dressed as like, I don't know, Cuphead or something.
Like, were they extras or are you talking about the costumes?
Yeah,
themselves?
is that an issue?
Yeah, all the IP with the costumes,
Yeah.
because that's throughout the whole movie with all the characters that we see.
We were told flat out there's no way that's happening. That was in the script. They get on the subway. It was vague throughout the script, and then on the subway it was they get on the subway and you see all of these horror icons and
Yeah.
from there, and we were told that would not be able to happen because obviously rights issues, blah blah blah. And then we basically begged and begged, thought we had lost that battle, and then when we were a few weeks out from going into actual, production, we heard, hey, legals approved it. You guys are good to go. They just
Wow.
can't do the things that they're famous for. So Freddie can't, use his glove and
Okay.
So once we got
And
that,
using in marketing materials, right? That was the only other sort of stipulation is that you can't.
but then they ended up using them all in
But they
marketing.
did.
Yeah, they were in the
That's all they
trailers.
used. Yeah, that was the whole teaser.
So who knows? We're not lawyers. That's the short
Right.
version of it.
Yeah.
We're not lawyers.
But
Yeah.
as soon as we found out we could actually do that, us and Avery and the costume department just went to town with like how we can anything we want. Let's put it in the movie. Like,
Yeah, so who do we got? I know there's Pinhead, Freddy, I think Michael and
all
Jason.
the big ones. Yeah, the
Chucky,
Babadook is back there.
Babadook, the Shining Twins.
The family from Us.
Family from Us. Mojo Jojo, you guys told
Yes,
us
you
to
told
look
us
out
to look
him.
for
He's like
Mojo
walking up the
Jojo,
stairs,
yeah.
little Roger nod
yeah, you
there.
got it.
Yeah.
The Mayflower Queen from Midsommar, Sean from Shaun
Oh,
of the
yep,
Dead,
yep.
Grudge.
Georgie from it. Yeah.
Obviously, Samara Weaving's character from Ready or Not with
Grace.
Yeah, Grace.
Weird shared universe.
For sure. I thought for a second I saw the guy from Tourist Trap, but I think it was just a guy in a
That'd be
bucket hat.
so
I was really
obscure.
excited. But any more obscure ones that we might have missed?
We got Hot Rod in there.
I thought
I saw
so.
Hot Rod. Yeah, with like a
Wait,
does he have a
it's-
cape?
Yeah,
And it
he's,
says
he's at
Rod
the
there?
he's at the frat party.
He's at the frat house.
Yeah.
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 We had
We
a guy in a Dan
love that
Flash's
movie.
Dan Flash's shirt
Really?
at the frat house.
It's a very
Yeah, very complicated, expensive.
Very complicated
pattern.
pattern.
Very expensive.
There's a Sonic the Hedgehog.
Love
Ooh,
it.
I missed Sonic. All right.
Yeah, there are two Tom Cruise references. There's a Maverick on the subway, and then Frankie.
Mhm.
Yes, he's risky
is dressed
business.
as Tom Cruise
right.
from Risky Business. Yeah.
I wrote in my notes that character. I didn't realize he was dressed as Tom Cruise until I think Mason says something about.
Yeah, I think he says.
But I wrote like never trust someone not in a costume at a Halloween party. But then I realized you just have to pan down and see he's in socks to
Yeah.
get that he's okay. He's dressed up.
There's of course the Night for Murder Party as well.
I saw
Not-
that on I think someone on Twitter mentioned that as a kind of a deep cut.
Oh,
the movie
okay.
Murder Party. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Ethan dressed as.
Oh, nice,
yeah.
nice.
There are so many. It's honestly hard to even. I don't know how big Avery's spreadsheet was, but it had to be.
There's a binder like that
300
thick.
costumes.
I believe it. I was
Yeah.
hoping we
Yeah.
would see you guys dressed as your characters from VHS running around.
Dude, that's what we wanted so much. What
But
almost.
are those
we had-
costumes in there?
Well, Tara is a pirate,
Oh,
and she's with a nanny cam and a
military guy.
right?
oh
In the military
my
guy.
A
god!
Unabomber, because the Unabomber, the actor who was supposed to play the Unabomber character got COVID, so they're with a fourth non-VHS specific costume.
Oh my god! I'm so glad there was a nod to that in there. It's
yeah, I
so-
didn't even put together
I
that
didn't
she's
either.
a pirate and that, yeah, because we were like, maybe they'll be in there, but the fact that, no, you made Jenna Ortega be your costume. for
Also,
VHS.
favorite little detail, just because we have, I don't know, just primal monkey brains. Tara saying that she's from Michigan as her fake.
Yeah, as soon as she said that, we were like,
Yeah, that's where we're from.
Also, at one point, she says, "I'm going to be right back." Was that intentionally written to not be "I'll be right back"? Like she,
I'll be right back.
yeah, like she's already thinking about the fact that she lives in a horror movie. And is like, I know not to say "I'll be right back." I'm going to be right back.
I mean, unintentional, but great catch.
Yeah, that'll end up on IMDb as an Easter egg. Someone says is a fact.
Yeah, they just write it in
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
you can put whatever you want on. there.
20 out of 35 people found it helpful.
Exactly.
How nuts was it for you guys when Wednesday came out and got so big and you were like, she's in our movie and she was in the previous one. Just like, because I mean, we've known Jenna Ortega for a while. A bunch of people have. She's been doing this forever. But I wasn't expecting that level of blow up from Wednesday to just like go to another level. You know, that must have been so exciting to be like, oh, this is kind
I think
of.
we nabbed her before.
Yeah, like free marketing.
I don't think we had any idea Wednesday was going to be such a hit. And I think the effect it had on the movie is we had to pull back some of the Wednesday Easter eggs that we had put in it because we thought it was fun that Jenna was playing Wednesday. So there's like some Wednesday costumes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it became a juggernaut, we were like, oh, this feels weird now.
Weird.
Yeah.
This is like self-congratulatory.
Mm-hmm.
Too many Easter eggs.
But another small
It
world.
was going to be
fact
incredible though on the
about that.
first day of shooting on the last one. Like that, we started 5 with the opening, and there was all of these nerves. You know, first Scream movie for us. Oh, like iconic opening and first take, we were like, "Fuck, we're in the presence of greatness."
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't obviously know it was going to be Wednesday, but I think we all sort of felt this inevitability for her that she was going to become a superstar.
Yeah.
She just has that thing.
She does. Yeah. There's just something about her that was like, wow, you seem wise beyond your years. And just so natural. It's great.
I just want to talk about horror movies with her because there was an interview with her the other day where she said she loves Deep Red, and I fucking love Deep Red. That's in like my top 10. She's got good taste.
I know, it's so funny. When I covered Babysitter Killer Queen, her character is really into like older movies, like Rob Reiner movies and stuff. And I joked about how someone her age would never
she
know those
is.
movies. But she does. Like, judging from the interviews I've seen with her, like, she kind of is that character. She knows that stuff.
She studies everything. I mean, she watches everything. She reads everything. She's like, she is genuinely one of the greatest people we've got to meet in any kind of work environment. She's a special person.
I mean, the whole cast is so good.
Oh
and
my gosh.
They're all getting acclaim with these reviews.
Yes,
which I'm
everyone's so
grateful for.
good in this. Core 4. Melissa is so fucking good in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the turn that character takes. It also just in retrospect makes a lot of decisions and just little things that she does in 5 make sense. It's so good.
Yeah, I feel like people were maybe comparing her too much to like Sydney, like her character to Sydney in 5, and people weren't sure like how to take it. But I think I'm glad that she's getting recognition in 6 for like.
There's such cool parts. They're such great like counterparts to each other because you have Nev, who is kind of like a reluctant hero. Like Nev, we just want her to have her happy ending, right? Like she doesn't deserve any of this, and she doesn't. Then you have like Melissa, you have Sam, who like she says in this one, she kind of likes it. You know, there's something really dark about her, and that's
much darker.
Makes her such a fun counterpart to Sydney.
Love hearing you guys say that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we were all obviously just aware of a lot of the really shitty, negative, just bullshit that she was dealing with, you know, after the release of the last one. And I think we always knew that there was so much more to do with that character, and we were hoping people would give her a chance to like actually take the arc to its next logical kind of step in the evolution of who Sam Carpenter is. And we're so fucking proud of Melissa. Like she owns that role in a way that, I mean, we even on set, we're just like behind the monitors, just like, oh my God, this is electric. Like what a absolute juggernaut of a performance. And we've seen a lot of that love. We've seen a lot of people kind of walk back their shittiness, which it feels really good. Like it feels like there's been some redemption for that character, and it's nice to like see Melissa getting the love that she really truly deserves.
And also Melissa came to this one, just to say it, Melissa came to this one to prove something. And I think we all felt it from day one. It was like, yeah. And, you know, that was also something that fell on us, that responsibility to not drop that ball, since we have to see the project all the way through. And I mean, it really held the whole movie together.
Yeah. Is that scene where they're sitting around the table having that conversation, is that kind of like a nod to like the real life things going on where they're like, hey, I know that things are different for you than for us, but we all love you and we all like know that you're great.
Yeah. There were a couple moments where, you know, I think the movie, and it's part of what was so interesting about making this one so quickly on the heels of the last one that we were able to kind of have a little bit of a conversation about what was really still like very acute and very fresh for all the cast members, and certainly for Melissa. And I think there was one other instance where it was like addressed even more explicitly, and it felt a little bizarre. It felt like the movie was kind of reaching.
Yeah, like, it was outside of the
guardrail a little bit. But yeah, I think that line, it just sucks to be this hated. Like, what a fucking real, raw, and relatable thing at the end of the day. And by the way, love that they all come together in that scene. Right? That's such a it's such a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
It is. It really makes you care for the core four, and then of course it kicks off one of the most acclaimed of the many awesome action sequences in the movie. I'm guessing that was also a thing where you guys were like, "Oh, Scream 5 didn't have chase scenes," and people called that out. Fine, we'll give them a whole.
Not gonna say that we weren't excited to do that.
Yeah.
That was definitely like, let's just blow the roof off with this one. Fuck it.
Man, this is the second week in a row we've had a conversation about just, it sucks when people are mean online. Everyone be nice.
Yeah, dude, it does suck.
Stuff makes us cry.
It does suck.
Yeah.
It sucks because it's real. It's real.
It's real.
And people don't.
It's unfortunate.
People think that if you work in the business that you don't see that stuff, that like you're so busy that your life like exists outside of those spaces. And it's just not true. Right. And we understand that the kind of part of the contract of doing this is that you make things that create opinions. Yeah. Right. And so you have to understand what that is to a certain extent. There's a way to be critical of something without being cruel. And I think that the anonymity of those online spaces is it all steers cruel before it steers constructive, and that's just a sad fucking reality of where we're at.
I forget who had just tweeted a few days ago, but saying how like if you tag a filmmaker in your tweet where you're talking about how shitty their movie is, like that sucks. There's no need for that. You can have your opinion, but like, one, to get personal and mean about it sucks, and then two, if you're like literally trying to make that person see it by tagging them, it's like, what the fuck, guys? Come on.
Yeah, no, it's a modern day Rotten Vegetables.
That's
how
you imagine like not liking something and reaching out and saying to the person that made it and being like, "Fuck you." How dare it? Like, it's just such a I don't know.
And it's so much easier now. I kind of have more respect back when it was like you had to do like snail mail if you really wanted someone to know how much you hated their thing.
You had to pay for postage to send that hate.
Yeah. Like, that I can respect at least a little bit. You had to put in the work.
It's the tenacity.
Oh, man.
We mentioned Nev earlier, so definitely want to talk about that because, she's not in Scream 6. I think you handle the absence great. It's not smoothed over or ignored or like, oh, we don't need to address Sydney because, we do. She was the lifeblood of the Scream franchise. She's my favorite final girl ever, Sydney Prescott. Love her. And so I don't know. Can you guys talk about what happened, how you were feeling? Because I know that a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but there were some people who don't necessarily understand how these behind the scenes conversations happen, who were like, messaging us because they know that we're friends with you guys.
People messaged us,
and they were
like, "How dare
my God, guys,
like, why would you let Radio Silence do this to Nev?" Which is like a whole bunch of chains of incorrect assumptions about relationships.
Right. We've been blaming you guys too, just to be
we should have stood up for her. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We asked Debbie to do a Kickstarter, and they said no.
I think to be honest, so much of that is also outside of our involvement. At the end of the day, it really is. And we've said this before. I hope it doesn't sound like a canned answer because it's really not. I mean, the reality is we genuinely love Nev. We had so much fun with her on the last one. She was so great to us. She was so welcoming. She was so kind. She was so helpful. She taught us what to do in a lot of this stuff. I'll never forget like the kitchen sequence. Guys, it's too much. It's way too much. You're going to hate yourself in post. I promise you. She was 100% right. We took that when we went and made this one. We were like, we can't get stuck in that same thing again. Let's make sure that what we're shooting is what we want in the movie, not the version that we're going to have to cut down. Obviously, you cut it down and all that. But like, but all that to say, and Sydney also our favorite final girl. Like it's not lost on us how important that character is to everybody in the Scream, family. And it was really hard for us. It really was. But the thing that I think made it okay for us personally is that Nev was really kind about it, and we had an open line of communication, and we would talk on the phone, and we Zoomed a couple times about it. And it was just really like, none of this is personal. Let's keep this. This is a business decision. And we were like, we respect it. And she couldn't have been better, couldn't have been nicer about it. And so at the end of the day, we just made sure that when we went to make this movie, that we were able to kind of, that's a large hole to fill because she's so great. And so we just wanted to make sure that we were able to do justice to these characters the way that Wes and Kevin had done justice to, the original 3 and 4, Randy, they always say 3, but anyways. And we really wanted to make sure that we were able to do that, and that we were able to focus that time on these characters, and that hopefully you walk away from this movie going, I fucking love the core 4. They're my favorite characters now. I love them. Not like pitting it against any of the previous characters, but in this moment, if we do our jobs right, you walk out of this movie really excited to see what, those 2 sibling couples. That's not what you call them.
Not weird.
But what those 4 characters are up to,
Yeah, no, like the worst thing we
sets
could
of
have done
siblings?
was make a bad
Just
Scream
siblings.
movie. Like that would have been the most disrespectful thing, to make a bad Scream movie and then have there be no reason for it to continue at all. Like that was the responsibility.
Yeah, and I think, it sounds like, at least on a personal level, it was handled in a way, and definitely on a creative level in the film, it was handled in a way to where she could possibly come back for a Scream 7, which I think we're all crossing our fingers for, because, and it made sense for her not to be around in this New York set story.
Yeah, like what would, because then you have to think of, okay, why is she there?
Yeah, you have to spend pages and screen time bringing her back. And the passing of the baton, you're right. I think that's one of the things that Scream 4 ostensibly set out to do, but then it killed all the new characters and you were still just left with the final 3. And with you guys, with Scream 5, you actually succeeded in establishing new characters who were likable, keeping them alive, and even, killing off Dewey, our main man Dewey, which hurts, but it does open up some space for these new characters. And I think that Scream 6 shows how wise of a decision that was, because we fucking love the core 4. I've seen a lot of praise for them online, and I'm fine with all of them surviving their heinous attacks.
Ooh, yes, I had questions. I mean, I guess that's such a writing question, but I'm assuming you guys are at least somewhat involved in, decisions that large being made in terms of how many people are we keeping alive? Who do we? Yeah,
we had that conversation on this one too. I think at the end of the day, it's kind of, you sort of decide early on, like what you want, how you want it to feel, right? How you want the movie to feel when you're leaving it. And I think for us, look, we're not gonna lie and say that we think that like the injuries that people sustain, that it's totally logical that they survive. But I think that for us, like, you can make logical choices and you can make choices that feel great. And sometimes those things intersect and are perfectly aligned, and sometimes they aren't. And I think for us, we never want the expense of how the movie feels. We don't want that to be at the expense. We don't want the logic to be at the expense of how it feels. You know what I mean? Like, it's more important to us that you leave the movie feeling a certain way than the movie like is scientifically accurate. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just not why we show up to be entertained in a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And not lawyers, not scientists.
both very, very true.
Not doctors.
Yeah.
And I think that we kept talking about how, in the first movie, the characters that you love survive it, right? I mean, outside of Tatum, who dies very, very graphically and tragically. But one of the reasons that movie's so rewatchable is because the fucking good guys make it out. There are a lot of survivors in that first movie, and we wanted that same feeling. We wanted people to leave the theater and be like, fuck yeah, like, you can go through hell and come out the other side and be okay. Like, that was just really, really valuable to preserve that.
Just to throw a little something in that too, we always shoot our like kill scenes to like to say a 10, and then we kind of find out where they land in edit, a lot of it. And to be really blunt, like with Mason, the first cut in the assembly we saw, it was like 3 times as much. I mean, it was
Oh, no.
incredible.
13
So
stabs
many.
or something,
it
right?
was so much.
It was 30. It was like a lot.
But we kept, and we bring it down and we put it back up. But the funny thing is too, it's, there is the version that would be more accurate, but when you're in the emotion of the movie going through it, it's to what Tyler's point of the feel in that version too. When we tried the lesser version, it's just not as impactful, because I think we've all been desensitized in movies to where if someone just gets stabbed and dies, okay, you have to see that moment there, and it has to live within that kind of heightened reality we've set up. It's a long way of saying we've tried the less kill versions, and then those moments just become sort of flaccid. You go like, oh, I don't want reality. I want to live in this heightened world.
You're saying
with these heightened characters.
A version where Mason just gets stabbed once and fall. Like, it
yeah,
doesn't have the same.
There's like 2 stabs and he's dead.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it buys us the ending, but it made that moment a whole lot less impactful, and everything after that's a ripple effect that then becomes iffy. Anyways, I mean, it's a constant conversation. We have it.
Hey, I'm already gathering news stories of people surviving dozens of stab attacks to have the screenshots up for when I cover Scream 6 to be like, hey,
possible.
it happens.
It happens.
Slender Man, she survived,
But I don't think
there was one like yesterday that was. I mean, again, nobody should be stabbed. Let's just.
But I also think that like we don't need movies to be a reflection of reality that directly. Like if you want like that, then you turn on the fucking news. Like you don't go to see a Scream movie. Like it should be a little bit fantastical and a little bit soapy and like defy logic to a certain extent. I think it's one of the reasons we love going to the theater and
or live within its own logic that we've
like sort of set its own rules.
Scream's always been, if not like a tiny bit magical, a little bit just ridiculous. Where
I mean, Dewey survived all those stabs.
Yeah, Dewey has survived. I get what I kind of have started calling Ghostface strength. Ghostface, no matter who it is. They put on that costume and they are so fucking strong. And they're all kind of the same height, It's all a little bit magical.
Oh yeah, who was the suit performer of Ghostface in this one?
A guy named Max. Stunt performer named Max. Yeah.
And was it just one? You just had one stunt performer for Ghostface the whole time, or
like 90% of it?
Yeah, right? He was the main performer, and then at the end, when there are 2 ghost faces very specifically on camera, there's a second guy named Mathieu who was the slightly smaller than Max, that played the Quinn character. Yeah, I was in the Stu Macher mask. But Max is a force, man. He's an actor turned stuntman, so there's like a real there's a real performance in the way that he approached things. And I remember having conversations when we were first like shooting the first Ghostface sequences, and seeing how hard Max was going. And it was first like, oh, should we pull that back? Like, do we want to, does it need to be more in the sort of lane of the previous Ghost Faces? And there was just something so watchable and terrifying and magnetic about like seeing him go full force. And so we very specifically not only didn't pull him back, but told him to like, just fucking go for it. Like make the other cast members scared. Like we want these sequences to feel really grounded and real, and we designed all the sequences to be as full action as possible, like breakaway doors, dressers, all of that shit is like, they're really going full force in all of that stuff.
I'm assuming in each scene you guys have to know who is Ghostface in that particular moment, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta map that out.
Because that's a fun thing to go back and kind of retroactively be like, okay, I think it would have been this person here because that wouldn't make sense. And so you guys like have to know at least, who each Ghostface is.
But we do have internal debates over it. Like there's a few scenes where it could be, one of two, and it's, it's sort of dealer's choice a little bit, but we like to be on the same page about it. But we have those debates of, will this have to be X, Y, and Z? And fun fact, Jack Champion actually was in the Ghostface robe in the scene with Quinn. when the her off camera kill. That's him like
when Danny sees him
grabbing
through
her.
the window.
When Danny sees and walks in the bathroom. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the airdrop photo, right? The airdrop that
And the
pops up.
airdrop photo. That's Jack. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And yeah, so in retrospect, is that just him like waiting for her to get off the phone with their dad for them to like start, and he's just like impatiently waiting behind, or do they know that Danny's like seeing them through the window?
Our whole backstory was that he was probably literally hiding in the closet while they were, doing whatever they're doing.
Oh, sure.
And then, so it's like it gets really twisted. The more you go down that hole, the darker it gets.
Oh God. And would you give Max different directions based on who you?
I was
thought
gonna ask that
under the
same
Ghostface
thing, like
mask?
physically.
Or was it just be Ghostface?
Yeah, just be Ghostface.
Yeah, this is probably the least clumsy Ghostface out of all the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't trip over couches. He just fucking jumps over him.
Yeah.
Very
I
spry.
did notice, and this is again like such a post-production detail, but just the little kind of like effort noises Ghostface makes, like grunts and even just breathing. He sounds different in certain scenes depending. Like there is a scene where it has to be one of them, and you can tell he sounds a little different. Yeah, and I think it's such a neat detail.
Love that. Yeah, that's something that we have Roger do an effort pass
Ooh.
in ADR for the entire movie. Every scene that Ghostface is in, Roger like basically does a live kind of effort pass. And we have him do some kind of different pitches and and then we can kind of pick and choose and kind of calibrate how much or how little you want to hear, and then also just the kind of tone of the voice.
And his effort pass just like he's watching Ghostface do these actions
going,
and is vocalizing what he
Yeah.
sees.
Yeah,
That makes
exactly.
sense.
Just
100%.
noises. It's one of the weirdest parts of doing voiceover, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Well,
make
you guys
sound
got to meet
real.
Roger, right?
Not in person,
No,
but we've
via
emailed
email.
him. Thank you so much for putting us in contact with him. People, so many comments saying that's the best to the numbers bit ever. It just felt cool writing words for Ghostface and trying to like write like how Ghostface talks and sounds, and then he nailed it. Of course, obviously, is man,
Incredible.
Thank you so much.
So
for that.
incredible. I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for like what that character is. Like, because so much of it is seen, but then you realize, fuck, man, it is so much of what Ghostface is that voice. And the playfulness, the menace, like he is a true
Scary.
talent. Yeah, it is a like next level scene. We know because we've temped Ghostface lines using our voices, and it doesn't work. Right the fuck out of the movie.
Not great.
Not great.
He's so sweet too, because we were emailing him when we had both gotten COVID, and so he was just like giving us COVID advice and being
it's
like,
like-
"Try Paxlovid," and we're like, "Thanks, Ghostface."
Thank you, Ghostface. Yeah, he seems really, really sweet.
He's a sweetheart.
Did you guys see you have a couple little Easter eggy things in
We
the
saw
movie.
We saw the
VHS.
VHS. It was
Saw
so
the
funny. The
VHS.
first time I did not notice because I was just so excited to see the OG Invasion of the Body Snatchers on the TV. So I'm just sitting there watching that, completely miss the.
Yeah, I
Dead
love
Meat.
that the therapist, he's watching Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and then on his TV stand, just the single VHS of Dead Meat. He's like, he's going to watch that, and then he's going to watch some podcast and kill counts, and then that's his night.
Yeah.
It's also hilarious because if you just look at that scene, there's no dialogue, and so we thought it was so funny, almost to the point of too stupid to put in the movie. But you're next, you're
Yeah.
next,
Yeah.
you're next. Literally, the TV yelling at it, and then the other thing in that scene is your guys' VHS. Dead Meat, and we're just like double foreshadowing here. Really.
Yeah, we love the nods to some of our favorite podcasts. Last podcast on the left
was
in
on
there,
there.
and then we're good friends with the We Hate Movies boys, and we were so excited to see
texting
their
them
posts. Yeah, we were like, you
immediately.
guys made it.
Yeah. That was so exciting.
Also, No Dogs in Space. Shout out to No Dogs in Space. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
No.
No,
But,
I'm not.
One of the best music podcasts, also on the Lost Podcast Network.
Okay.
So good. We basically called up all of the podcasts we like, and we're like, hey, can we get shit?
Yeah, was that you guys or the production designer or?
Oh, that was us.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, but there's Ice Nine Kills on the fridge.
of course, Spencer. Yeah,
Right.
He was very
Yep.
excited about
That's
that.
you guys deserve credit for that being on there because we met Spencer at your wedding.
Yeah, and then you went
And
and
then
did
become friendly
karaoke
and-
after.
Yeah, you
and
guys did karaoke
I
together.
have the most FOMO about
Yep.
that.
It's like, cool, we got married, but they did karaoke.
I know, that
Like,
sounds
Surreal
so
night,
fun.
guys. What
That
a
was a fun night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta have a makeup night. So yeah, thank you for the special thanks in there in the credits.
Oh, man.
We don't know what we did for it, but we'll take it. That'll be an
well. You
IMDb
provided
credit.
the VHS, and then you guys are. There's
Yeah,
a
you got-
brief moment of you on this on the TV as well in the apartment scene. It's again a like very blurry, sort of deep
Oh
background.
wait,
but
I didn't see that.
Oh, I
Wait,
didn't
what?
either.
Okay, so in which
Yeah.
scene is it?
it's as Ghostface attacks in the apartment, and Sam is gathering Annika and Mindy, and they're running into the bedroom. It's very deep background, very blurry, but one of your shorts is playing on the.
Which one is it?
Ooh.
What'd you go with? Because we sent you a bunch.
No, it was the one. I think it was a piece from the financing, the video you guys put together.
pregame?
Oh, pregame?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, now we just have to see it a third time.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. That's so great. Oh, well, thank you. We took pictures of the screen, like absolute tourists. We were so excited.
Yeah, for the special place. We're like,
Yeah.
gotta get it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh my God. Sorry. The dog is just like.
Molly, is this
Molly's
Molly's
been so
podcast?
good.
It is Molly's first podcast. We just brought her home 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
She's my dad's dog, and he's unable to care
Yeah.
for her
So
now.
we're taking care of her now.
We've taken her in, and
She's got all kinds of little outfits already.
she does. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
mostly sweet. She needs to be trained.
She needs to be trained. Yes.
Yeah. Do the rest of you have dogs? I obviously see Tyler's dog.
Mine's mine's around here somewhere. I don't know what he's doing.
What's their name?
I've got 2 cats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have one right now. Yeah,
Well, you have a kid, so.
soon.
Yeah.
Soon. Yeah, I just got a kid.
Dad, are you in the market? You're looking for a pup?
I always am pushing for that. It might be after the next project when we get back for a little bit, so I can help train.
Do you guys
Yeah.
know what the next project is? Is it Escape from New York? Because I saw stuff about that, right? Was that real?
It's real.
Okay.
That's not the next one though. We're
That's
going.
not the next one.
Yeah, we're supposed to
Oh.
travel off to Ireland here in just a few weeks to start prep on a
shit.
Universal movie.
Can
Yeah.
you say anything more about it, or is that the extent a Universal movie?
It is a kind of starts out as a crime thriller and it gets hijacked by a monster movie.
Okay.
Nice.
Is this an IP that we'd be familiar with, or is this an original thing?
Yeah, bit of both.
Define
Oh,
IP.
okay. Okay.
But so is it not like a franchise of films then? Or is it just
It is not. It's kind of it's sort of a new way into an old thing.
cool? Okay.
Ooh, I'm just gonna spend the rest of the day trying to puzzle out.
I know, and the fact that it's Universal, I'm assuming it's one of those guys.
It's not Fast 11.
Okay, good.
Right.
Okay, so you've got that ahead apparently, and then Escape from New York. Is that just something that you're attached to right now, or is that
It's a deeper development process. We're still trying to crack the story and making sure the rights line up and stay in one place as it moves forward with that development. Obviously, it's we're masochists, right? Like going
Apparently.
from Craven to Carpenter, but we'll see how that goes. But honestly, there's no more fun sandbox to play in, and hopefully we keep it on track and we get it all sorted out with everybody.
have you met John? Have you talked to him?
Not yet.
Okay.
That would be like one of the
We had an interview with him for Halloween Kills, I think, and it was one of the most terrified.
Oh
we've
my, I
ever
was
been
so
going into
nervous.
an interview because, you hear that he's kind of ornery, or that his deal is that he won't play the game, or that he doesn't have.
Yeah,
any
he's
interest
not
in-
here to do like some like BS press or anything.
Yeah, it was like Hugh
He just
Grant
wants
on the
to
red
hang
carpet
out.
last night.
Yeah.
Just like he's there to be real, and thankfully. I think we connected with him because he was so sweet.
He was
and
really nice,
lovely, and we chatted about Detroit because he had filmed
Xbox.
part of.
He,
he
loves
his
video
gaming,
games, so.
yeah.
Really?
Oh yes.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot.
He loves
was his-
Sonic, so if you're a fan of Sonic.
it's so great.
He was very pleasant to talk to, as long as I think as long as you're not trying to bullshit him.
Yeah.
he has a very strong bullshit detector, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
doomed.
that makes sense.
We're fucking doomed.
And then, of course, there was that article that I retweeted maybe a little too quickly about Scream 7
we
getting
got
greenlit.
very excited.
Yeah, I don't know if that's real or not, but you guys basically told us before we started filming that you don't really know too much about that, or
That
Same.
remains the truth. Yeah.
you didn't get any text.
Don't know much.
Yeah.
They're gonna make
Yeah.
a seventh. Like I don't think off the heels of last weekend and how great this the experience was. There's another one I'm sure in the works, and Guy and Jamie are probably deep into the draft. We know nothing about it. We know as much about it as everybody else.
Would
That's
you be
interesting.
interested in doing it again, or are you ready to do other stuff, or is it kind of up in the air?
I mean, I think we'd always be interested in Scream. It's like we had a great time. Like these were both so much fun to make.
Mhm.
We love the cast. We love the franchise. Like,
Yeah, it'd be crazy to not want to stay involved after how
yeah.
awesome it's been.
Yeah, and especially how awesome it did. The 44 million opening weekend, biggest opening weekend of the franchise, already
Crazy.
passed Scream 4's entire domestic run in a single weekend, which is
Wow,
nuts.
wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
I've been into the box office subreddit for the past year, so been kind of figuring out the lingo and the record stuff. But yeah, like I am crossing my fingers for this to just continue to do well. I mean, great word of mouth. Spring break coming up to help it out.
Yeah. So wait, you mentioned that Guy and Jamie are working on a draft like right now. So is that always the case with these movies where you're not super involved from the get-go, like at the very early stages of story and draft, or is that just kind of the case for the upcoming one?
That's how it always. We've gotten both of the first drafts of the previous two Scream movies at that point, like a fully formed idea. Like here's the first draft. Like and with Scream, this one, because it was a crazy schedule, we got I think an earlier draft than we normally would have got. So there was still a lot that we all got to work on together, which was really fun. But on Scream 5, I mean, we were given a draft, and it was like not that different from what we ended up shooting.
I think it's by design too. I don't,
Yeah.
very specifically, I think Guy and Jamie want to make sure that when they get a read, that it's a really fresh read, right? It's how they sort of know whether something is working or not. Instead of just having an idea be kind of ambiguous and in development, they are, I think they made the right choice to sort of silo their process in an effort to get a really clean reaction and response to it.
Yeah,
that makes
I
sense.
can see how, especially something like Scream, you could so easily have a too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing where everyone wants to put their own little spin on it, especially when you start getting meta. Then that's just so confusing.
Well, you just don't ever know if things are working either. It's sort of the same for the edit for us, like you live with a movie for so long and you see it so many times that you kind of become immune to its twists and it's like its charm, the things that are kind of at the end of the day what people I think find really exciting and memorable. For like you're just at some point you trust and you hope that stuff is going to work, and I think that's when you reach that point it's time to share it with people, and I think it's really probably the exact same for those dudes in the writing process.
Yeah, on a much lower stakes level, that's how I feel sometimes with like kill count editing, where I'm like, is this joke still funny? Like I'm not laughing
totally.
anymore, but I remember thinking it was funny when I first wrote it. I just kind of have to trust that initial reaction because that'll be most people's experience, not the seeing it 1,000 times like I have.
Do you show it to people before you like who do you like rattle test it with before you release?
Not as far as jokes and stuff go, nothing. I have a group of moderators who do a QC, like a quality check on it, to make sure there aren't any mistakes, factual or technical. But as far as like the script goes, I just I do have writers who now do first passes usually, but I don't really run it by anyone with hey, is this funny? I just trust myself at this point. I wanted to ask about Samara Weaving because
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, because obviously she's fucking incredible in everything, but in Ready or Not, I think was a great showcase for her. I think that and Mayhem are like the two movies where it's like, this is what Samara Weaving can fucking do. And I know that you guys wanted her for Scream 5. Was there a specific role, or was it just you wanted her and then you found out early that she wasn't available?
Yeah, I mean, she was, I think, when we were first talking about it, we just wanted to make another movie with Samara. It was like anything, please be in a movie that we're making. Uh, and that didn't work out because she was shooting Nine Perfect Strangers. But in this one, the minute that we had all agreed, oh, she could be opening Laura, the opening character, we're like, yes, let's call her right now. And it took all of a walk to dinner to let her manager know, call her. She said, yep, don't care what I'm doing. I'll be on a plane. Just tell me when. It was like a 20-minute, like, full, yes, I'm in.
That's awesome. I think that speaks highly to your set if she was so excited to do that. And I mean, you had Henry
She's the best.
certainly coming back, so he obviously had a good experience.
Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Henry.
I think the hard thing too that we just like that Laura, that opening character, there's so little screen time. Like you have to fall in love with her and sympathize with her and be charmed by her, and also like have a sense of like feel a sense of depth in a matter of 3 to 5 minutes. And a lot of that too was, I think, just making her memorable, like letting her use her Australian accent. Like I was so
we were both very excited.
Making it stand out and kind of crackle in a way that only Samara can do. Like she's just there's just something so watchable and alluring about her on screen, and we're so thrilled she came out. It was really really fun. Just like hanging out with an old bud.
I had the exact same thought of like, one, the opening, it begins and we see her and I'm like, fuck, R.I.P. Samara.
Yeah,
like, I love you so much, but you're not long for this world. But then just in her one scene, just all her facial acting.
Well,
and
that character too. And both times we've seen it, it's gotten such big laughs. I feel like here in LA, especially because it's such a film city. That character, I swear to God, I have described this podcast the exact same way she talks about teaching this horror class, even down to the point where she's like, "Oh my God, just shut the fuck up, just stop talking." She just was so real. Oh my God, I felt seen.
By the way, fun little side note too is that a lot of those exactly the stuff you're talking about, like that wasn't scripted. That was Samara being like, I want to make this character. I think she said to us, this is the closest she's ever played to herself. She's like, I want her to just be like this nerdy, like really own that, all that. And she really, like, she brought it, like those things, like when we were shooting it, like at the monitor, because we weren't expecting any of that. And it was so fun to see live because, that's like a great actor where no matter what the little thing is, it surprises you. And you're like, oh, I love this person. They're so relatable.
Yeah, excellent choice for a first kill, and glad we got to hear her banshee scream, even if not as long or as frequent as in Ready or Not. There was still a little bit of it. Her scream is so good.
Terrible context.
God. That opening scene is so good, by the way. Like, what a fun kind of twist on that opening formula down to, I mean, when it doesn't cut after that, what does he say? He's like,
says, now I see red.
Something red.
And it's like, okay, there's our scream intro, and then it lingers, and you're like, wait, what?
It's so great.
Yeah, that was scripted really beautifully too. It's like very specifically is like, but we don't cut to the title card.
Yeah,
like it was like, the sort of bottom kind of falls out of the movie there for a second, and I think for us on our first read, we were like, oh fuck, we're gonna follow the killer. Wait, what is happening? Like, what is this movie? And I think that the risk that the opening takes, you just know that the movie's gonna be a little bit subversive and weird and different. I mean, that's the heavy lifting of pulling it off is setting up the permission for what the rest of the movie's gonna be.
Yeah. That scene is another great Roger scene, too, because in retrospect, seeing it a second time and knowing who is under that Ghostface mask in the beginning, he giggles so much as that version of Ghostface. He's like nervously laughing the entire time. He's just kind of like on the phone, just like he sounds like kind of a excited kid.
Yeah, you said you don't give direction to Max, the Ghostface suit performer, different direction based on who Ghostface is supposed to be. But for Roger, does he get different direction on maybe what he would know or his intonations based on who he's supposed to be?
Yeah, a little bit. And he also, I think he runs with it sometimes where because he knows. Like I remember on the last one, he was doing the Richie stuff. Remember that, guys,
Mhm.
with Jack's voice,
Yeah.
and we actually had to do that the other way because we were like, you're doing too much Jack.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
and we don't want it to sound like Jack.
Mm.
But it's like I think because he's such a good actor, he's such a good performer. He's so aware of what he's embodying, and then can run it through his filter. So a lot of that we're not involved, and really, it's like Roger does stuff, and we go fucking great.
Mhm.
He's a pro, and he's been doing this voice specifically for so long now. And it's like it's the same way with Courtney. It's like she can like just turn on that Gale Weathers thing, and you're like, what? Where'd that come from? It's amazing.
Oh yeah, Courtney's a producer on this. Was she a producer on the last one?
No.
Okay. That was new.
So yeah,
First
like how?
credit.
Yeah, that must be wild. How often do you work with Courtney, or like in what capacity were you working with her on this in kind of a producer role?
I mean, I think that for us, it was really just a sign of love and respect, like six movies, like the crazy thing, her coming out to, run around a giant loft apartment and get
Great.
beat up
One
in those face.
Yeah.
And
favorite chase scene out of all of them.
yeah,
So good.
it was really just, so much love and respect for Courtney, and the fact that she like invited us into this world with open arms is still just an insane. it's an insane thing. She's just the best. That shooting that sequence I think that was probably the most challenging. Like those like 4 splits were really
Most stressful.
really difficult, really stressful. It was a lot of action, not a lot of time to shoot.
Mhm.
But I mean, we had Roger call in and do a bunch of that phone call with her live, which is something he's done in all of the movies, all of the kind of pivotal phone calls in the movies, and that gave it a real specific energy. Courtney has certainly met him, but has never had like a phone call with Ghostface before, and so there was a lot about it that just felt like kinetic energy in it, because it felt like we were doing something that 6 movies in, it's hard to find new track with a character that's been in all 6 movies. And it was like, oh fuck, this is like what a moment this is going to be.
Yeah, I didn't realize she had never had a Ghostface phone call until that moment. I think a lot of people, like I think that first screening, we did like a press screening, and I definitely could hear people like, is that true? Is that? Oh my God.
Yeah, and just before I forget, when you're talking about Roger and his delivery based on people, when I was rewatching Scream 5 the most recent time, it really felt like Ghostface, the caller, was a hardcore Stab fan and got offended when the person didn't know Stab or like got something wrong about it. So in retrospect, it's like, oh yeah, Richie and Amber would be annoyed at these fucking plebes who don't know about their favorite franchise, and that's coming from Roger and his delivery, and it's just so satisfying to see when you're rewatching it.
I think a lot of that's on the page too. Like a lot of that is credit to the writing.
Oh, okay,
that
cool.
The intention is so crystal clear, but I think Roger knows what the target is. And so what typically happens is, minus the moments where he's calling in and we're shooting that, kind of live, he will go off and he'll give us a run of every Ghostface line, kind of 3 different levels, usually one kind of subdued, one kind of playful and menacing, and then one like sort of loud and
got you like a fish.
I was just gonna say, got you like a fish.
Yeah. And then we sort of pick and choose in the edit, and then Roger will typically watch it again, and then we can kind of start to calibrate it based on the energy of the scene, and so it goes through a few different iterations, but there isn't a gear that he doesn't do well. He's remarkable.
That's interesting. I could be wrong, but I think Brad Dourif does a similar process with Chucky, where records a pass and then watches it and sees how it goes, and then maybe makes some adjustments and re-records some lines. So I mean, both those they're 2 of my favorite horror franchises. They're the 2 with the continuity maintained throughout, and both of them have this iconic voice actor who's been with it since the start.
And the voice is kind of part of the costume. Like we sort of consider it like the mask or the robe, that again, when you put that on, you become a thing. It's not you underneath the thing quite as much as it is you sort of are almost imbued with this power, like you were saying.
Yeah, it's
Chelsea.
Ghostface
There's
magic.
something
Like,
kind
it's
of
real.
magical
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Roger's voice is a huge part of that. Like
For
that,
sure.
it feels so strong and so capable and so smart and so ahead of the person on the other end of the phone.
Yeah, if I heard myself sounding like that, I would also gain strength and
Yeah,
speed.
like Popeye eating spinach.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh yeah. Oh man, well, congrats, you guys. I'm so happy for all of you, and I'm happy we all finally got to do another podcast episode together.
Yeah.
Us too.
I know the like
thank you.
4 minutes that we had during the
Dude.
junkets. I was like, it's already over. What?
Yeah.
It ended, and Matt and I turned to each other, and we were like, "That was sad, James. That was not. That was not happy, James. That was sad, James. That was sick with COVID. Didn't get to see the
Yeah.
movie. James.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That sucked.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, and like halfway through answering the first question, I get the little like 1 minute left. I'm like, no. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you got happy, James, and also Chelsea and Molly for a full-on
Yeah.
interview. Like, this was great, guys.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you all
you.
so much.
Love
And
you
let's
guys.
do
Yeah.
karaoke
Thank
sometime.
you so much, guys.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yes,
All right.
please.
Anytime.
Please.
Cool.
That'd
All
be
right.
great.
Love you guys.
All right, we love you
check back
guys.
soon.
All right,
soon.
love you guys.
Talk soon. Later.
Bye.
Thanks.
Cool. Thank you, Radio Silence, for coming to join us.
love those
Thank
guys.
you, Molly, for being somewhat well behaved. I
Yeah.
think Lucy was outside the door.
And Molly was growling, so I had to go get her.
Yeah, we're going to figure out a solution for this. Yeah, little puppy. I know you just want to get at that kitty cat.
Oh, Molly. Oh, she's almost fucking face planted.
Come here.
Okay. Yeah, today is Monday, and we're going to go film the Dead Meat Horror Awards tonight.
Yep,
So,
busy day today.
busy day. Keep an eye out for those on March 26th. I think around noon Pacific is when we're going to premiere the video, but you'll see, and we're super excited for that. Scream is nominated for some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So excited to God, I just fucking love those guys.
I
They're so
know,
cool.
they're
They're so
great.
nice.
They're such nice boys. I'm very happy for them.
Nice boys. And they started on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's the best.
I really hope they do end up going through with Escape from New York, because I would like to play a Buckflower style like train hobo in it, please.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what people look at you and are like, that's our hobo.
I just think of the scene. Oh wait, you haven't seen it. There's
I know,
a
I need
scene
to
in
see
like
it.
this theater where there's just like it's this like hobo camp in there, and I say hope not like it's a homeless, like no, this is like a hobo camp, like the guy who lives on the train in Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
with like the hole
cartoon.
in the shoe and the hat,
Yeah,
top
and like
of the hat that
you're
opens like a
yeah,
can
the
opener.
gloves have like little holes in the
Yeah.
fingertips, and there's a flower on
Little
your hat.
bindle, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Love that movie. All right.
All right. Thanks, Gresso, for
Yeah, thank you,
TDing this,
Gresso.
even though he hasn't had a chance to see the movie yet. I think not everything.
Not everything was spoiled.
The only thing was Samara Weaving, which if she's first, obvious.
Okay, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad Gresso.
And there was the name of a Ghostface said, but
Already forgot.
exactly.
Great.
So you're good. You're gravy.
Good,
yeah.
good. All right. Well, we'll see you on the next podcast. Again, thanks to Radio Silence for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this, not review, but more discussion of the
Yeah,
movie.
maybe we can do like a review next week.
Maybe. We got to do Skinamarink, and we got to do Survivor. Survivor's back.
Okay, so yeah, so next week we're gonna do Skinamarink because I really want to see it
Okay.
and I want to talk about it.
Okay.
If we can talk about it for an hour.
Yeah, we still haven't seen it.
Based on my understanding of it, it's kind of a mood piece. So we'll see how that goes. And then yeah, we'll do Survivor. Those usually come at the end of
They come like
Survivor
midway, but
seasons
yeah,
anyway.
whatever. As long as it's Survivor season, and we're in Survivor mode.
yeah. I gotta put together a cast
Yeah.
for that. That's the hardest part, honestly, now at this point, is coming up with casts.
We'll stick Sully in there.
Well, obviously Sully, because it's never Dully with Sully
Never Dolly with
from
Sully.
Bones and all. All right.
All right.
Cool. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time, I'm.
They find you.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
Sorry, it's been a minute. Huh?
Yeah. Social media, Dead Meat James on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram.
And I'm Carebeck, CREVECC on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want merch, deadmeatstore.com.
We're also working on a website.
Yeah, we're working on a website.
So hopefully that'll be launched probably in a couple of months, but that'll be a nice one-stop location for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
That's
Thank
it.
you, everyone. Until next week, I'm Chelsea.
And I'm James.
And this has been the Dead Meat Podcast.